Amendment Bill 2025, a bill that has brought a lot of controversies in the public, more so from the opposition and other stakeholders. Yes, my name is Mugabe Godwin, is on media, and today I bring you one of the aspiring presidents in this country, that is Mr. Magezi David William. Yes, how are you, sir?
I am very fine, thank you so much.
Yes, introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay, by Kata se pedagogy Aruta se and Arubama se, David William Magezi is my onoma, is my kogunem, my nomen, my purisokiri, my epinomia.
Please, you're confusing.
In simple terms, is my name. I'm not confusing you, younger sir.
because when you say, which word did you say? Baipa? Yes.
That is a kogunem. That means a name.
What does it mean?
It means a name.
Anyway, yes, Mr. Magezi.
Yes.
The UPDF amendment bill.
Okay.
What is your say? Just give a brief background of how it is and what is your say from there.
In that extent, I am so, we call it, or a politicity.
I want you to choose things words that I can easily understand.
When I say I am or a politicity, it means I'm politically upright. I am pacificus. I am pacificus about a certain matter you're asking me. So now yeah, the UPDF Amendment Act. What exactly do we need to know? The government wants the civilians, the common man, the peasant, to still be tried in the military court. What I can say, I don't support. I'm in opposition, or I oppose, I'm antagonist with the bill. Reason being, you cannot get a civilian and you try them in the military court. They have no military training. I was explaining, I was on the certain television and they asked me about...
Wait, you're saying that you cannot try a civilian in a military court, but how about, because now the bill talks about a civilian who acts in the role of an army or in the role of, let me say, security personnel. For example, you putting on a UPDF uniform, you as Magezi as a civilian, where do you want to be taken? To a civil court?
That applies in the state of Viragamahamaha. If it is not a state of Viragamahamaha, the state I told you about, the political mahahaha, let me tell you something that you don't know. In the state where your rule of law works, civilians are not supposed to be tried in the military court. They lack a military training. They don't know how military personnel operate. You try to behave like one doesn't mean that you should be tried in the military court. For example, you masquerade into a military attire does not mean you're a military person.
But why are you putting on that military attire? I mean, why would you hold a gun and then you don't want to be tried in a court that tries those that hold the gun?
It is because the state has held our mind for too long. People start to masquerade because they think it is through the military that they can attain what they want.
Sure.
Yes, that is, those are already so longevity and power. So you have to know the reason why are these people doing such, why are these people behaving in this certain way. After you knowing that, then there need to be a mitigation to litigate.
But now, the UPDF Act amendment does not only talk about trying civilians in military courts. On the other hand, I think that there is a way people are getting. They are not getting the point wrong. Because it talks about a lot of things. It talks about the veterinary affairs. It talks about the health of officers. It talks about a lot of things.
For us, we are not bothered about the veterinary affairs, whether retired generally. We are not concerned about that. Our issue that tackles us as civilians, it is we have finding an article that states civilians should be tried in the military court. That is what concerns us. We are not military personnel. We are citizens. We are just everyday people. We are peasants. We are bona fide citizens of this country.
Where does this leave the rule of law?
I am telling you, we are in the grave of political confusion. It leaves this country in the Viragamahamaha state, a political fiasco moho.
As you say, Magama, I need the viewers as well to understand, so you can as well put some basic English for them. because now you're going to confuse me, then also confuse me.
For you, I expect you to to have been thinking.
As well, if you talk about Magama, I would not really understand.
So, I want our viewers to understand that trying civilians in the military court has buried the rule of law. Let me tell you something that you don't know. Whenever someone wants to hold, to cling on, it is called the megalomaniacal nature. Whenever someone grows that malaganosusistic nature in them, just know you're done. They have military power, they have political power, they have economical power, and they are killing the right of speech, the right of free hearing, a right to a fair hearing. They have killed it. That means civilians don't have any. Let me tell you, whenever the government realizes that the people are tired, because people get tired because the government has failed to do the basic things the government is supposed to do. It is to provide social services, is to provide security to the people. Whenever they fail, they intend to bring such laws. They intend to amend the constitution. Let me tell you, the rule of law is buried. I'm telling you. If President Museveni so happens to sign that amendment bill to become a law, just know we are done.
Now, let's talk about this as well. The people of Karamoja are complaining about Katuraso. And it's this court martial that has at least tried to harmonize people that are using guns to steal people's cows. You get? Now, they're asking that you who is complaining about trying civilians in military courts, where were you when their cattle were being rustled? That is the question they have for you.
Do you know that there are terrorists being tried in the civilian court?
Yes, there are terrorists who are tried as well. Because it said terrorists, aggravated robbery, all those...
Labor leaders?
Yes.
And those who deviated from President Museveni?
No, not all those who deviated from President Museveni. Because there are people that don't believe in President Museveni, but as well they are not in military courts.
Let me tell you something that you don't know. Where do Karamojas get the guns? In the first place, we should know, where do they get the guns? How do they acquire them?
The question should be as well.
Now, where is the government in that process where the Karamojongo attain the guns and get the guns? Where is the government? What is the role of UPDF?
The government has tried to disarm all of them.
Before disarming, you know where they get the guns. That's why I told you we have a need to litigate, to mitigate.
Now that is where we come in and say that these people are, as well, they steal the guns.
Where do they steal them?
Because why do the government give people guns?
Now let me ask you, before disarming people, or before disarming the Karamoja people, no, where do they get the guns? How do they acquire the guns? Then you mitigate and litigate.
Do you think
and in the process of litigation, you should not try people in the military court?
A moment. Do you think the intelligence this country has, they are unable to know where these people get their guns?
I think they are unable. Reason being, they have been disarming. Maybe I think the government is involved in this. It is involved. Me, I think.
It is my say that now is the government that is stealing people's cows in Karamoja.
The government is not stealing. But let me tell you, there are a lot of diversion that the state creates. Me, I know. There are a lot, I think, because according to the way Karamojongos behave and how they attain the guns, for how long will they keep attaining the guns? And the government has failed to know where they attain the guns. Why don't they go and know where the source of the guns? If you know the source, then you litigate, you mitigate.
Let's talk about people that use guns to steal people.
And how do they learn how to use the guns? You should know. It is a basic training.
We have a lot of things. A lot of avenues where people can learn how to use guns.
Even the Karamojong.
People are using.
Few Karamojongs are ever online. Few Karamojongs, first of all,
but they
their infrastructure is dilapidated. That is a failure of the government, and they have made the region to be underdeveloped. Now, how do you expect them to fight for themselves?
Well, let's not deviate from the main part.
Okay.
Then as well, they talked about the kind of attires, the amendment bill, the kind of attires that people are supposed to put on. For example, I said that if you're putting on a green Kaunda suit, that is designated for UPDF. A blue or a navy blue is as well designated for security forces for UPDF. What did you say about that? As well, even the shoes, the black shoes.
Let me tell you. I want to affirm and confirm and agreement and affix. The amendment bill talking about the attires, the shoes, the Kaunda suits. I am telling you, it is hampered, it is tainted with a lot of estoppel, and it is going to amount to an act of rascality in this country. It is going to amount to an act of political monopoly. With this, I am kindly. I want the people who are watching us to understand. Let me tell you, the shoes that we are put in the amendment, the UPDF amendment bill, these everyday shoes, the shoes that the civilians put on in their everyday life. So we are in the tragedy.
Don't you think they are going to arrest everyone?
They are going to, let me tell you, this is direct. There is no corners, it is direct. They are targeting the everyday person, the civilian. So no one is safe in the country. I want to tell you this. No one is safe in this country. Those who think that they are the government and they are making this, they are amending this bill for the opposition. Time is gone. It is only time. Time will tell. I am telling you, for every action there is equal and opposite reaction.
Why would we say that this bill is targeting the opposition?
It is because they have seen opposition putting on this. They are putting on. They are making their Kaunda suits. They look smart. They are aggressive. They are supporting radicalism, and they think it is a threat to the government, of which no government wants to be overthrown. Power is fought for, and the power is for keeping. Now I think it is all targeting the civilian, and it is all keeping them in power, sustaining them in power. That's why they bring all these laws. But I'm telling you, you amend the law. You do all you want when you're still in power. But the time comes when that day, one day like this, and you no longer have power. That's when you understand that the law you made was affecting people. You should not interpret the law when it favors you. You should interpret the way it is.
Yes, let's talk about the opposition, the opposition political members who stormed out of parliament because this bill was being discussed. What did you say about that?
I had a lot of lips as lingua.
Because now, this is a parliament where people are supposed to sit, disagree, agree, at least put a debate. Where does this leave you as the opposition? Because you're also opposition.
You see?
But are you opposition?
I am on opposition. I'm an opposition. I'm an opposition person. Let me tell you. Our populists have to understand what are the roles of an MOP. What are the roles of their leaders they elected to, for them to represent them. Let me tell you something that you don't know. When, in the first place, you to understand, opposition, first of all, they are few in the number. That is the number one thing. Whether you want the law to be passed or not, they will pass it. They have over 400 MPs in their favor. So, you, the opposition, almost have 50, around 50 faithful opposition MPs, 50 of them. But the all opposition is around 95 to 100. Plus those independent. They are also termed as opposition MPs because they are not among the government. But let me tell you something. If at all they never appear, it will do more harm than good. Because the parliament records everything unanswered. So they had to contain both the pressure in the parliament and the pressure in the populace, their electorate. So Joel Sonyani was supposed to use a high intelligence rate to handle this pressure. This one being, if at all they never appeared, that is absenteeism. No allowances, no apology.
Should we say they appeared because they wanted the allowances?
They never appeared because they want allowances, but they appeared because they had to. They had to put their views on the floor of parliament. and right honorable Joel Sonyenyi,
they stormed out.
They spoke on their, of course they gave their view. They gave their view and they went out.
View of what?
Of the opposition. You know, right honorable Joel Sonyenyi is an opposition leader. He's not a government. He's not a part of the government.
Because what he gave, he said that he's not. I mean, he's unable to take part in this sham process of passing the law. But you've not discussed, at least, because this people went and made a minority report, and the minority report was read by only one person, Honorable Moses Okot.
The issue is, I've given you. You should know what they call factors official. You should know what matters most. The populace is putting pressure on you that we don't want you to appear on the floor of parliament. And you have to give your stand on the floor of parliament. Before they went into the parliament, the populace, the electorate had their view. They were saying, we don't want you to appear. Why do you appear on the floor of parliament? But they had to use intelligence to appear there and give their stance and get out. What Joel Sonyenyi spoke went to the answer. They never wanted to participate, and that was recorded.
But it is these same people who are saying that, please fight for us. Are you going to fight for them when you're only getting out of parliament?
It does not matter.
You're supposed to sit and at least discuss. Because now let's look at Honorable Muhammad Nsereko, who sat down and said that at least let's stay behind and have a view of, let's talk something. Let's talk what is on our hearts, what our people sent us for. Should we say now Muhammad Nsereko was not sent by people to parliament who are saying that now don't go there?
Now it depends on the type of electorate. Does it matter for you to be in the parliament, or doesn't matter? If you being in parliament, will it make sense or will not make no sense? So you weigh. Right honorable Joel Sonyenyi, he did his part. Adding the pressure from the electorate and adding the pressure on the floor of parliament, he did the right thing. Reason being, he gave his views. We are not going to participate in this sham process. And he was right. He gave his views on the floor of parliament. Now, what don't the electorate know is here. They think you making yourself absent in the parliament will matter. They have to know that it doesn't matter. And you being in parliament and give your views, and it matters less than you not appearing. So you weigh. Should we appear in parliament or should we not appear totally? So you weigh. They went there, they did their part, they went out. That's what we call opposition. You need to act opposition.
Now, Honorable, now let's look at this. Let's look at this as we go into a commercial break. It is like the opposition is only looking at a law that favors them, because they don't want to be tried in in military courts. But as well,
not only the opposition, it is all the people of Uganda.
Let's as well look at the health of officers, of UPDF officers. We are not debating about that. We are only debating about the other. We don't want. You guys don't want our officers to have a very good life when it comes to their health.
The opposition was categorically clear.
Yes, thank you so much. We shall start from there as we come from the commercial break. Yes, our viewers, let's first have a commercial break and then we shall be back.
Get ready, Uganda. The most colourful event of the year is back and bigger than ever before. Campus Colour Fest. Second edition explodes into action this August 30th at the stunning Kingfisher Resort. Ginger, dance, splash, get drenched in colour. It's more than just a party, it's a vibe, a movement, a memory waiting to happen. Featuring the hottest DJs, live performers, colour blasts, water slides and non-stop energy. Tickets as low as 55,000, but guess what? Book early for just 10,000. Limited slots, unlimited fun. August 30th, Kingfisher Ginger, Campus Colour Fest 2025, where the colour meets the crazy. Book now.
Yes, those that are still watching us, I want to thank you so much for being part of this entertaining and very political show. It's a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much. If you've not yet followed us on our social media platforms, on X, on TikTok, And on YouTube, subscribing to us, please. You're doing yourself a service because you're missing out a lot. Yes, Mr. Magezi.
Yes, please.
As we come back to the discussion of the UPDF Amendment Act,
Okay.
there is a way you politicians are trying to make this so much political that you're ignoring the other parts in the bill, and you're putting you're considering most of the trying of civilians in military courts, which can be challenged in the courts of law because it was once just recently here. Yes, why are we not concentrating as well on the health, on the wealth, and on the outlook of our soldiers? Why are we not considering that? Why wouldn't we sit down and discuss this as well? Yes.
So discussing.
Aren't we trying to be selfish?
We are not selfish. Let me tell you something. Our viewers need to understand. If we don't check off the enui of political apathy and you know what is the matter, and we dig deep in the gist of something, then we are mistaken. We are missing out something. The amendment bill, the UPDF amendment bill, has a lot of things that we need to understand. As he has mentioned, it is the line or the article that talks about civilians being tried in the military court. It is a single line, or it is an article. But for us, we are not interested in the whole bill. We are interested in the article. Civilians being tried in the military court. That is where you go wrong. Of course, we are not bothered about the other thing. We support the welfare of the retired officers, the welfare of the serving officers. We don't want to discuss them because we support them. What we want to discuss, what we want to talk about is civilians.
You would be coming out and saying that at least this add on something to their health.
Then if you wanted it to come on the floor of parliament, you should separate it.
No, you cannot separate it because the whole bill encloses all those things.
Then you're mistaken. You're inept. You're inept in this. You're ignorant in this matter. You need to understand what really they would separate. They would separate.
Because you see,
you would bring a bill,
Mr. Magezi,
talking about civilians alone,
these are the same soldiers that are beating you, and sometimes they beat you because they are very hungry.
Hungry of what?
And because their salaries are very low.
Let me tell you, officers signed in to serve the country, to protect the territorial integrity of the country, to protect the constitution of the country, to protect the country.
Them these things.
For sure, we need to educate our populace. Our population need to be educated. And let me tell you, it was Soman Sankara that said, he quoted and I quote him, the enemies of our people are those who keep them in ignorance. I have realized that a lot of our people are ignorant about these laws, are ignorant. They don't know what it entails it all. And the people need to be educated. If people are not educated, we are doomed. I'm telling you, because they don't know. Let me tell you, what the opposition leaders did, it was the right thing. You entered into the parliament and you are supporting something that is good, even if it is unethical, even if it is a line. But any civilian, because they are civilians. Did you see how many people on the floor of parliament, they are saying you've not talked about us? Or this bill contained also our welfare. This bill talked about our salary increment. This bill talked about it is civilians fighting for their rights, so that they are not tried in the military courts because they are victims of this law. They are victims of this bill. How many people are not victims of this bill? Their salaries were talked about in other bills and other laws, of which they are the constitution of Uganda. So why do you want to bring such? You bring the attires, you bring the counter suits, you bring the shoes. These things are targeting the populace of this country. And the people have to understand, we are not after the bill. If I tell it talks about the welfare of the soldiers, we are not against the bill. If I tell it is talking about the salary increment of soldiers, we are against the bill that talks about civilians being tried in the military court.
Magezi, Honorable, where does this leave you as someone who is fighting a government that has brought up this bill?
It puts me in the state of Kwagamaya. It is a Hogologo, Viragamahamaha state. And I want to tell the people who are seeing us, if they are told they don't learn, there is a clear nexus between economical inequality and social injustice. And we must address the two to create an equitable society. If people don't understand that, we are doomed.
Let's first leave the people and look at you.
Me as a person, I'm a leader. I'm a leader
against the president of this country, who is the chief in command, and who is the person that appoints the judges in the court martial. I mean, okay, he heads the Security Council, meaning that he does what? The High Command. He heads it, meaning that his decision is very big.
In this all, I'm premonitory biased. I want to be categorically clear. Our viewers, he has asked me, what does this leave me as a person contesting for the presidency of the country? Number one thing, where it leaves me, I become worried. We are public figures, but what about the people who are outside there, the civilians, everyday people? They don't know what to do. They are inept. They are ignorant. They don't know what this bill entails. This bill is targeting political personnel. It is targeting politicians who are against President Museveni. If you don't know, President Museveni will leave very soon. President Museveni will leave very soon, and I want to inform you this. If you are told you never knew, this bill, it will exist even after President Museveni has gone. But it is targeting you, an everyday person who at one time go to the market and buy your shoe and they said it is a military attire. Who one time go to the market and they buy your shirt and they said that it is a military, it is a reserve for the military clothes. So no one is safe in this country. Me inclusive, I am not safe. We are younger people, we are not against President Museveni, but we are against the views that are being brought. We are not against President Museveni, we are against what is being done in the country under his watch. And the people have to understand, we are not against President Museveni, and I need this message to reach to President Museveni. We are younger people in your age, your prime age, just like us, your early 20s and your early 30s. You talked about these things. People were being abducted, people were being killed with no reason, people were being taken away unknowingly, people were crying. And you woke up and you stood and you went to the bush to fight for the freedom of the people of this country. This is the same spirit that we come to speak about these things. Freedom is being threatened again in this country. President Museveni, where are you?
Let's not deviate from the biggest matter, because now I see you want to go so much political.
Because I'm a politician. I am a politician here. I came to talk about politics. I am not a vendor. I told you I'm a political pantheon. I am a pragmatic leader. Yes. I'm a demagogic orator. What brought me here is to speak about politics of this country.
Yes. Putting the General Court Martial at the level of the High Court, where does this leave the judicial system? Because that means that now we have two courts. I mean, two high courts.
I am even worried. The people who are seeing us need to understand, Mr. Easy. You constituting a military court and you give it powers. A soldier only hears an order. Soldiers hear orders. They are not instructed, they are given orders. A person in the higher rank gives an order and you need to obey.
Some clauses in the bill were saying that this bill was brought up to make the General Court Martial independent and make it so much transparent.
There is nothing making the court martial independent or transparent. That is all about the dash. That is pure ogwish. That is pure killer trap. That is deception. That is sabotage. That is trickery. That is foolery. People have to understand what is all about the military court. People in the military court are being given orders to execute, to eviscerate the populace of this country. And people have to know we are in a multiple organ failure. No one is doing business in a normal setup. And people have to understand, you giving authority to the military courts, they need to understand they are doomed.
In the case of Attorney General of Uganda versus Honorable Michael Kabazigu, former member of Parliament, that was recently in the Supreme Court. The court ruled against trying civilians in the military.
Because it was the right thing to do. People who are operating judges in the military court, and this day, today, very early morning, I asked, where is the Chief Justice? Is the Chief Justice? Where are you? Where are you as these things are happening in the country? Reason being, the Chief Justice is a civilian. Is a military personnel?
No, he's a civilian.
He's a civilian. Now, Why do you want civilians to be tried in a military court? They may think they are not victims, but one day, one time, for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. You do it today, it will find you another day. These laws you're making, they will find your children and they will hurt them to the extent that they will get them and they will be victims of these laws that you're amending now and you're signing and you're letting people to do them. Let me tell you, we should fight. This concerns us all. We should fight in the military courts. We should fight. We are not militants. We are just civilians. We are just peasants of this country. We are just bona fide citizens of this country. We have a right to speak. We have a right to speak about the things that matter, things that art has, things that compress, things that kill our rights. You see now, they have constituted the military court. Last time it was being called the kangaroo court. Now it is an unofficial court.
It is an official court now.
And let me tell you, judges in the military court should be militants. And military people are given orders, are not requested. Someone in the Iraq gives an order, eviscerate, execute, do this. But now civilians are going to be executed in the military court.
Looking at this fact that the person that appoints the chairman of the High Command, Commander-in-Chief of Defense Forces,
and that is the president.
The same person that appoints the judges, the same person that now appoints.
And it's the same person that gives the ranks to the militaries.
Yes. Now, we want to look at this in the context of governance. Is our democracy really working?
We have no democracy. I told you later that we have democracia dictatoranda patura democratica. People have to understand what do I mean in these terms. We don't have democracy. Even the freedom, the little freedom that we have been having, it is being threatened again. We know that freedom is not free. Someone has to pay the price. It is upon us, this generation, to fight for our freedom. And we are going to fight. If it requires us to speak, we shall speak. If it requires us to move with the placards, we shall. Because we don't have guns. What should I do? You've left us with one option, is to stand and speak. Let me tell you, no one is safe in this country. No one is safe. No one is safe. People have to know that.
In case you, the opposition, go to the court, because you're planning to go to the Supreme Court, to the Court of Appeal, and then appeal, then go to the Supreme Court if it fails. In case this case is not ruled in your favor, what are you going to do?
We shall appeal again.
Because first, the opposition decided not to take part in the process, and they are going to court. So, in case it is not ruled in your favor, what is the opposition going to do?
You know, so injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. In this court that we are appealing to, it is a court that is being appointed by President Museveni.
And as well, the person that brought, that supported, because there was a caucus meeting before that. On Tuesday, there was a caucus meeting that is of NRM members. That is,
so let me tell you, if justice is denied,
the same person that appoints the judges is the same person that made the caucus to pass the law. Don't you think he's going to influence the courts?
He's going to, of course, he's going to influence. But what should we do? Should we sit down and should we go back home and sleep and say now we are being denied? They have passed the law, now we sit. We have one option, is to speak. The generation and the future will judge us, and they will ask us, what did you do in the period where you had nothing to do? What did you do? We spoke. So these people have to keep speaking. We have to do the list. We may not do great things, but we shall do small things in a great way. This is the right time to do the small things in a great way. What His Excellency Chagulanyi is doing is speaking. Is speaking.
Are you also speaking?
Of course, I'm here speaking. Why did I come here? I came here to speak. To speak, to tell the most of this country that we are heading into a grave of political confusion. That's what I termed as a political higgledy-piggledy. People have to understand. It is a political fiasco mogi-mogi. That's what those terms mean. And the people have to understand, what do we really understand? What do we really mean when we say this? The history will judge us. What did you do in the extent, in the period where they were passing these bills? We shall say we spoke. We never involved in their inaction. We never took part in them. So we are playing our part. Not keeping quiet, but we are playing our part. And our part we have now is to speak, and we are speaking.
Yes, Mr. Magezi, as we conclude, because time is not our best ally.
Okay.
President Museveni, in one of his statements, says that he has not seen anyone capable to take this country to another level. What do you think makes you so much capable that President Museveni is going to give the full?
Number one thing, the environment in which President Museveni was operating and this we are operating, the environment changed. Climate change has changed everything. The political environment, people have studied, people know. Few people were studied in their generation. People had degrees, few people had degrees. We have studied, we know the world is a global village, we know how to lead the country, technology has taken place, science has taken place, people are now open-minded, people now know what to do. What should we do? Now let me tell you.
Do you think if you won this election, this coming election,
okay,
you would be announced? Do you think?
Huh?
Yes, our viewers that are still watching us, the discussion is going on. Yes, do you think if you won this election, you would be announced by the Electoral Commission of this country?
If it is so happens that I win these elections, will I be announced? I want to inform you that I will be announced. Reason being, now the youths are open-minded.
But we are against the system that it's the same person that appoints the Electoral Commission as well. Do you think they would go against their bosses?
They will have to. They will have to.
Justify the matter.
They will have to.
Justify the matter.
Reason being,
as fast as you conclude.
There is something that you need to understand. Dr. Kizza Besigye did his part. His Excellency Kyagulanyi is doing his part, and I am doing my part. Time is going to reach when the President Museveni can no longer push, and we are the right people in the right place in the right time to lead this country. So if it so happens that I win this race of 2026 presidential elections, I have faith. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So we are dreamers. Me, I think I am dreaming.
Mr. Magezi,
and once it will happen.
Remarks.
So as I conclude, because concluding I must, I want to tell our viewers that this is the right time for us to stand up, to raise our voices, to speak. You have seen what has just happened in the Ivory Coast. The president now is hiding because the populists have decided to come up and stand and fight for their rights. It is happening there, it can happen here. If at all we check off the enemy of political apathy, if at all we start now and fight for our freedom, we protect Parasia, our freedom to speak. We protect our freedom. We reserve our right to speak and educate, erudify, tutelage our demos. People who have knowledge and they will know that now this is our time to fight. It is upon us, the generation, to fight for this generation and the coming generation. So we need to check off the fear and know what we are supposed to do. So as I finish, I call upon everyone to stand behind me, to rally behind me, to believe in me. I can make a better president. I can lead this country.
Better than President Museveni.
Of course I have.
Yes. Thank you so much, viewers that have been with us since we started the show. Thank you so much. It's been a very good show. Mr. Magezi.
Yes, please.
We really wish you the best and hope your voice reaches to where you want it to reach in regards to the UPDF Amendment Bill 2025. Yes, it's been MUBS TV for you. And as well, that don't forget that on 30th of August we have an event that is aimed at creating a better environment so that you guys can be getting good cameras. We need very good materials that can bring you this content, and that's why we put up a campus color face so that it can support us in attaining some of these equipments. Thank you so much. We love you so much. Mugabe Godwin is your media. My name.
Splash. Get drenched in colour. It's more than just a party. It's a vibe, a movement, a memory waiting to happen. Featuring the hottest DJs, live performers, colour blasts, water slides and non-stop energy. Tickets as low as 55,000, but guess what? Book early for just 10,000. Limited slots, unlimited fun. August 30th. Kingfisher Ginger, Campus Colour Fest 2025, where